Yes, ma'am.
Chair, before we went on break, there were a few documents or we asked the witness to provide, and just want to state on the record that he has provided some of them. I believe copies, Secretariat has made copies for the committee. The first one is a letter from the Gambia Tourism Board, subject provisional offer of land in the tourism development area. Okay, that's it. There's a sketch plan attached, and there's a letter of engagement as receiver, trustee addendum dated 18th June 2020, and the last one being letter of engagement as receiver trustee dated 14th June 2019. This one is unsigned. Mr. Barry, I believe this would be the draft letter you mentioned.
Yes.
Okay. Can I proceed, Honorable Chair? All right, thank you. Mr. Barry, before we went on break, we were discussing, or I can say the area we stopped was, we talked about scope of work, and we also talked about payment of fees. Just before we move on to other new issues, let me try and be close this fee issue. If you take a look at the paragraph that mentions fees in your offer letter, or the appointment letter, I'd say rather, the last sentence, it states all other charges to reasonable expenses, including operational costs, shall be deducted from monies generated from the transaction. These reasonable expenses and charges, are they different from, are they also to be deducted from the entire transaction income generated, different from the 10%? So you would deduct the 10%, 5%, and also deduct operational expenses.
Correct.
Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
How was this determined? Usually, would you present the cost of each transaction to the Attorney General before deducting, or were you just free to deduct?
It's basically has to be something that is relevant to the transaction. So, for example, if we look at the survey fee,
Okay.
I mean, so all the expenses really are easy to identify, and it's not ambiguous. They are strictly related to the operations. For example, if you look at the website, those are operational expenses. If you look at some of the properties had outstanding NAWEC bills or rates. So those are the kind of expenses. So they are not ambiguous.
Okay.
Yes.
But you did keep a record of these operational costs for every property or
Yes.
company?
Oh yes. I mean, we had a separate bank account.
Okay.
And all expenses are paid out of that bank account. Okay. So it's very easy to verify. And actually, as we speak, the auditors are doing that. The National Audit Office.
The National Audit Office.
Yeah.
Okay. They're doing an audit.
Yeah,
on these accounts.
On this account.
Okay.
They've been doing it for the last 2 years, I believe.
Okay.
So I was not left to my own devices.
They were checks.
They were checks, yes.
Okay. Thank you. before we went on break, we had also touched on scope of work, guidelines, and TOR, and the scope of work is from the engagement letter,
yes,
and also, and then the guiding documents came after.
yes.
All right. What is it? But just before we go further into your testimony, did you at any point ever receive any information, be it during the time of your appointment or during the renewals after the 6 months? Did you know whether your appointment was ever advertised, perhaps in the papers, on Emoji's website, at any point?
No, it didn't occur to me that it was advertised.
That it was advertised.
Or not, yeah.
Council, can I just, Mr. Barry, I think you need to raise your voice a bit in the mic, otherwise it's not been heard by the technical team, huh? Please.
All right.
Please.
All right, thank you, Honorable Chair. So you are not aware at any point whether your engagement was advertised?
No.
Even after you were appointed, whether it was advertised to notify the general public? You know?
That I was appointed, or there was
a receiver now
whether it
taking
was,
over from the previous receiver.
whether it was made known to the public.
Yeah.
Probably, maybe when we advertise assets, because it was advertised under the receiver trustee.
Okay.
Maybe through that, but whether it was formally, the public was formally informed, I'm not aware of that.
Okay. All right. No problem. We can move ahead. Prior to your appointment as a receiver by the Attorney General at the time, did you ever execute a similar assignment anywhere in the Gambia, outside the Gambia?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Where?
In the Gambia here and also abroad. When I was explaining my role in Deloitte, I did say I was responsible for mergers and acquisition and disposal of assets.
Okay.
Yes.
Very well. So let's go back to the early days after your engagement. You've now received a letter. You are aware of the scope of work. You've had all your agreements have with the Attorney General's chambers has been ironed out. What were the first course of actions that you took?
On my side, really,
Yes.
was to get the requisite staff
Okay.
to assist in the execution of the assignment. That was one thing, and then to get some of the infrastructure in place, and one of them was the website and email addresses. So it was operational issues that we focused on, because I believe that the appointment letter was in June, but the first sales really started around September. So we are looking at modalities of how to operationalize the assignment in such a way that it's transparent, but also it can fetch the best price for the state. So we are really looking at how to execute. And then, of course, we started advertising, etc., etc.
All right. So the first course of action was to get staff that will assist you in the execution of the scope of work and the duties that the Attorney General had engaged you to do.
Yes.
Did it require getting a big team?
No, it's not. It's the size really. This is where the size is not important, but the quality.
Okay.
The quality in terms of competence, but also in terms of integrity.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was. It was. Those are the criteria that I was looking for in terms of building the team. And yeah, I believe I got the staff. So the size really wasn't that critical, because in some of those companies, there were some staff already in place that we could work with, but we needed the key staff in terms of guiding the assignment in the right direction.
Okay. In the beginning, early stages of work as well, did you need or ever require the support of perhaps personnel from public institutions?
Yes, we were assisted a lot by the, I think, the Office of the Sheriff.
Okay.
In terms of identifying some of the assets. We also had the assistance of the police, because sometimes some of those properties were occupied by squatters. So those were the kind of public officials that we required. Also, we did engage the people that were working in the lands office.
At the Ministry of Land?
At the Ministry of Lands, yeah.
Okay. What did you need them for?
Some of them in terms of survey, also identifying amount of land rent that's outstanding.
Okay. For these properties?
For these properties, yes. And we also worked, of course, with the Elegance Chambers when it came to the cancellation of leases, etc. So we did work with the staff there.
All right. So from the Office of the Sheriff, you stated that you needed personnel there to help identify the land. Didn't the Attorney General I know you said Mr. Binga was your contact person, but weren't you directed at anyone at the Attorney General's chambers who could direct you or your team to the location of these properties?
I don't know why, but yeah, we were. Maybe it's because the person has the knowledge. So we work with Modu Musa a lot.
From the sheriff?
From the sheriff, in terms of identifying the property. And I believe with also with Alujaro as well, we did work with him in identifying some of the assets.
Alujaro from the Attorney General's chamber? I
think was he the registrar?
Registrar General and then Registrar of Companies.
Yes, that's Alujaro, yes.
Oh. All right. So these were the only personnel that you worked with when it came to identification of?
Those are the ones I can recall at the moment. Okay. If anyone additional comes, I will let you know.
All right. No problem. You've mentioned modalities and methodology that you identified that you and your team would use when it came to executing your duties. Can you tell this committee what modalities these were?
So let me, I'll take you through the process of how some of the assignments were executed. So in terms of property, the assignment would start from the approval of a list. So for example, phase 1, the ministerial subcommittee would sit and then identify a number of assets and write to me and say that these assets are you're authorized to sell these assets. So we would then go ahead and draft an advert and share it with the Office of the Attorney General, mostly with the Solicitor General then. And the advert would be approved.
Sorry, at the time, who was the Solicitor General?
Cherno Marina.
Okay.
So the draft advertisement is approved. So we advertise the properties in the papers. And then, so I'm talking about Banjul, because when the Banjul properties were initially valued by the commission, so we didn't do initial valuation for Banjul, but for subsequent steps, we did valuation at the same time as we are doing the adverts. So we used to advertise in 3 local papers. And also, remember I told you about the website. So we'll also upload the advertisement on the website, and then we'll put the pictures of the properties on the website. Big Councillor, I think you are getting very bored.
I'm not. Please continue.
So we will advertise it, and then we will receive the bids. So the address we were using then was Futurelect because of its location. It's very accessible. So they will drop, people will drop their bids there, and at the close of the bid, usually if it is on a Thursday, we close the bid probably around 12. So let's say if it's on a Thursday, we close around 12. So myself and my team will now collect the bids, and we bring it to the Office of the Attorney General. So for the first bids, that's the Banjul properties, it was open in the presence of the Attorney General and himself,
okay,
and the Solicitor General, their team, and then the team of the receiver. And we always ask them first to verify that the envelopes are all intact, and if they confirm that. Now, as we open the envelopes, we also, because people also were bidding online. Now, when you bid online, what we ask you to do is to password protect your bid, and you only give us the password when we are opening the bid to ensure transparency and avoid any potential claims of favoritism, etc. So we will now also open the password protected bids, and then do initially we do an analysis of the names of the bidders, how much they bidded, and award there and then, because it was really based on who's paid the highest amount. And usually we will call you there before we leave to say that you've won, you were successful in the bid for this particular property. We will write to you and let you know, and then we give you a time frame as to when payment is made. So what we did as well was we tried to avoid handling cash. So we directed all successful bidders to pay at a particular bank account, and you are issued a receipt after full payment. So when the bids are open and then an initial evaluation is done, we'll go back to the office and do a full report and send it to the Solicitor General for his consideration and approval. And then we'll go ahead and collect whatever and deposit the money into the bank, and then issue the receipts, issue the title deeds or bill of sale if it is a different kind of asset. So that's for Banjul. But when it came to KMC, we said, look, let's do an additional valuation to give us additional confidence that we are having the right guide prices for these assets. So for the second phase, so we'll get the ministerial approval, the letter, identifying the assets. Then as we do the advert, we are also commissioning an independent expert to do the valuation of those assets, to give us the guide price. So we will also upload the guide price on the website to give bidders an idea of what we are actually looking for in terms of pricing. And then, of course, we'll do the evaluation, inform the owners, and then inform the successful bidders, and they pay, and then issue title deed or issue bill of sale. So that's really the process. That was the process.
And this process was followed for all classes of assets?
No.
Shares, land, vehicles?
For most of the properties, yes. For the vehicles, yes, it's the same. I mean, the same procedure. But there were certain assets that were a little bit peculiar. For example, if you look at the Gum Petroleum shares, we needed to adopt a different approach. So where it differed in that instance is we had what you call, there's a specific term I'm looking for, a data room.
A data?
A data room.
Okay.
So it's available virtually, whereby okay, so for the Gum Petroleum, what we've done is we just did not want to open it to anybody. So what we did was to first have an expression of interest. So we advertise if you are interested, but there are certain criteria that you need to meet. In terms of, you need to submit audited accounts, and you need to demonstrate that probably you have the capacity. And we will also inform you that you will need to provide a bid bond if you want to participate. So from the expression of interest, you will now shortlist as to who would now proceed to tender for the shares. So that's one of the deviations. So once you are shortlisted, we get you to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and then we'll open the data room to you. Now the data room will have all the information that you need about Gum Petroleum, and also you are given the option that if you want to visit the facilities, so we'll facilitate that. In Gum Petroleum, we also incorporated the CEO to be part of the evaluation team as well, because that was it. I mean, for us to have an additional assurance that we are doing the right thing, and we are selecting the right investors for that. So you're given the chance to come and visit the site, and so that you will and then interview management and find out what their strategies are, what their plans are for the future. And then I believe we had about 14, between 12 and 14 companies that expressed interest, but eventually only 5 submitted their bids. And we did the evaluation, and in that instance, all the bidders were invited in the opening of the in the opening of the bid. For Royal Atlantic, it was also a peculiar asset because they just did not want to sell it as land. The idea is to sell it as land, but to be utilized as a tourism facility because of its location. So part of the evaluation team also included the Director General of the Gambia Tourism Authority to also provide. So, okay, that reminds me when you said whether we use other public officials, that's an additional one that I would include, and the Gambia Petroleum. So he was also part of the evaluation team as well, because part of the advert, we did say that you need to give a proposal as to what you will do with the land in terms of hospitality development. So in summary, I think that's how the process was laid out.
All right. Thank you for that. When we get to sales, we will discuss more on the different classes of assets and how each sale process began for each class.
Okay, there's another one, Comium.
Yes.
Comium and GT Bank. I believe Comium, I believe it must have said that these shares needs to be offered to existing shareholders first before, but notwithstanding, even with that, valuations were done to give us a basis of negotiation. So that's another asset class.
Okay. So from what you've stated now, the different classes of assets were landed properties, shares in companies like Comium, Gampet, and GT Bank.
GT Bank.
Okay. And then we had the vehicles.
Yes.
And we have companies themselves.
No, the companies were liquidated.
Yes, but they were liquidated whilst you were the receiver.
Yes.
Yes, so they're also part of the classes of the different classes of assets.
Yeah, but they were not sold as going concern.
Okay.
So their assets were sold. The assets were sold, but the companies were liquidated.
How many companies were that were liquidated?
No, I don't have it from the top of my head, but I can.
Please do, because tomorrow we will get into sales. So please make sure that everything regarding sales of the different classes of assets is at your fingertips.
Okay.
So now we're still at the beginning stages. You were explaining the methodology used for the different classes of assets. So for the landed property, after your appointment, did you have to provide the security? Is that where you got the police involved to secure these assets, or that was not necessary?
It was for the properties. It was for where you have squatters.
Okay.
Really, the police were required to remove the squatters.
All right.
Yeah.
Was this a difficult process?
It was very difficult, yes.
Can you kindly explain?
Okay, you will go and you will find families there, and one, they would try to justify why they are there, and two, they would also want you to give them time to find other places. So I guess it was how do you exercise your mandate with a human face?
And did you give them time to find different accommodation?
Eventually, yes.
How much time did you give them?
Well, it depends on, sometimes you go and, they are ready to move the following day
Okay.
or the following week. And, sometimes you give them time and you go there, they still don't want to move because they believe that you will not come back again or something else would happen. And then you then need to say, yes, really, you need to move.
All right, but apart from the properties where they were squatters occupying these places, the properties that did not have any squatters, did you find the need to place security there so that anything doesn't happen?
Yes.
So that nothing happens at
Yes.
these properties?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, some of the properties, they were occupied by the army and they refused to move. So I don't know whether I can call the army as quarters. But yeah, in fact, some of the sales were cancelled because the
army was still there.
Army wouldn't move.
And then what did you do in that instance? Then when you visit properties and you find that it's occupied by the army?
We report just back to the
AG.
AG.
That's it. You don't write to the commanders, the CDS.
I don't interface with other. I didn't interface with other government. I try to channel things through
the AG.
Through the office of the AG.
All right. So now, when you contact the AG to inform him that there are soldiers occupying a particular property, what was his response?
Yeah, he would engage the Minister of Defense.
Okay.
And they will have discussions. And as I said, some of them, for example, if you look at Hamza Barracks, it was sold and paid for, but the buyer couldn't get access.
Okay.
And eventually, we had to refund the buyer.
So the sale had to be cancelled?
The sale had to be cancelled. And I think there's another property in Carnegie as well, where the army was occupying. It was sold and paid for. The army wouldn't move.
Where in Carnegie was this property?
You know Shaib and Mahdi?
Yes.
At the back.
Oh.
The road behind.
Okay. That property. So the sale was cancelled?
It was cancelled, yeah.
Okay. To this day, it has not been sold again?
I believe I guess now the government will just say, withdrawn for government use.
Okay. So it was sold to Shaib and Mahdi?
It was, okay. I told you the location.
Yeah.
In reference to Shaib and Mahdi.
Okay.
But
so
also,
it
was sold. That particular one was sold to Shaib and Mahdi.
Okay, and then eventually cancelled.
It was eventually.
Was payment made for that property?
Yes, it was made. And
you had to refund the money?
And we held the money for quite some time. But I think they were asking for interest, whatever.
Who was asking for interest?
The buyer.
When it came to returning the money? Okay, was that paid?
No.
But eventually you returned the money?
Yes.
The money was refunded. And this property, is it still part of the properties to be sold by you? Or was it returned to the Attorney General?
It's returned to the Attorney General.
To the Attorney General?
Yes.
So you wouldn't know who's occupying this property today? You mentioned Hamza Barracks as well. Who was it initially sold to?
I think it's either Guy Enterprise or I will need to refer to my
Okay,
my
please.
notes, yeah.
Tomorrow when we talk about sale, you can tell the committee who it was initially sold to. But in securing these properties, Mr. Barry, was there ever an instance where you had to perhaps hire the services of a private security firm to go and secure these properties?
Yes, most of the time, once we have access to the properties,
Okay.
we'll get a security firm because otherwise they'll go back again.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So the police did not. The police only helped with eviction.
There are certain properties that the police are still there
Securing.
securing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which properties are these?
The one I can recall now is there's a property at Putput Heights, used to be owned by Suleiman. Solbaj.
Oh, General Solbaj.
General Solbaj. So that property is the police are still there looking after it.
So these private security firms that were being hired, the payments will also come from the operational cost we initially discussed.
Certainly.
So when you were hiring these or engaging the services of these private security firms, did you get approval from the Attorney General? Or
No.
did you just engage the services and later inform the Attorney General?
I engage their services because really these are expenses that are not ambiguous.
Okay.
You know, you need. So actually, I didn't because I was given the authority to spend on operational expense. So I didn't see the need to. Otherwise, it would have been too tedious, you know, going every day to get approval on daily issues.
But eventually you would inform the Attorney General.
Yes, because you know we report to them, and as I said, also the expenses are subject to audit by the National Audit Office.
All right. When the sales process commenced, after you stated that sales started in September 2019, so between June and September you were setting the ground ready to start sales. When you were starting sales, which class of assets did you start with?
There was some assets that were not even in the list.
Okay.
So there was a project in Brikama,
Okay.
and I believe it involved the construction of generators. So, and I believe Bazi was the one doing it, and he had assets, but we were not aware of it.
Okay. So when did you become aware of it?
So he was working with a local partner.
Who was the local partner, do you know?
The local partner was Hamidou
Hamidou.
Jah, and he brought it to our attention.
So one day you were just randomly contacted by a man called Hamidou.
Yes, that he has these assets and he understands that Baz's assets are being frozen and to be sold. And he wanted to buy it so that he can finish the project.
Okay.
So we brought it to the attention of the Office of the Attorney General. So we did a valuation and then sold it to him because it was peculiar in the sense that he was using it and he needed to finish the project. So that's what we started first. That was the first transaction.
Was the AG aware of these assets before you informed him?
I don't think so. Nobody knew that. So I guess he could have sat on it, and probably none of us will be the wiser. But he volunteered and came up and said, "Look, this is what it is," and yeah.
Did you know Mr. Ja before this transaction?
Hamidu?
Yeah.
Everybody knows Hamidu.
Okay.
He's the guy that sells cement. Everybody knows Hamidu.
You know what I'm getting at?
No, probably.
Okay.
You know, I'm a man, so I'm very visual. Like.
So what I'm getting at is, how did Mr. Ja know that you were going to conduct sales of assets of JANNEH and his associates, and he would now come to you to tell you about these assets when the commission had been around for over 2 years? There was a receiver before. There were receivers before you, not just Mr. Prom. There was also foresight accounting. There were receivers before you. How come Mr. Ja did not approach these people or the commission, and he approached you?
Yeah. At that time, I don't think Baz's assets were frozen. So I think it's timing issue. And as to why he came to me, I don't know who told him. Maybe I should have asked him how he found out. But you know, when people need something, they make it their business to know. And it's a very small country.
Okay.
But as I said, he volunteered, came up and identified the assets. We did the valuation, and it was approved by the ministerial subcommittee.
Was this not a cause for concern for you when Mr. Ja approached you?
No, really. Because, I mean, as I said, this is somebody that could have concealed the assets.
Could he?
Because nobody knew.
So you're saying the AG did not know?
No, he wasn't aware that those assets existed. Otherwise, it would have been in the list. So they were not in the list at all. That's really what I want to believe.
And do you know why Mr. Ja suddenly approached you and not anyone in government, not the AG, not the other receivers, not the commission? Do you know why he chose you?
Because at that time, I was the one handling the asset. But I guess maybe if you ask Mr. Ja, maybe he will explain. I cannot speculate as to why he decided to come to me. But I mean, you asked whether I knew him, but it was not as, he was not even an acquaintance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just know him by the way?
Yes, I think we dealt with each other probably once or twice on some other issue. So it's somebody that I know from afar, but it's not somebody that that he would come to me for a favor. No, not at that time.
Is it maybe Mr. Ja approached you and not the other receivers or the government directly because they knew you would sell these assets to him, perhaps?
No, I mean, I couldn't sell the assets without the approval of the ministerial subcommittee. So I was handling the asset, but I can only sell it with the authority of the ministerial subcommittee.
We're saying the assets. What type of assets were there?
Some of them were I think some of them were old vehicles, but I think there's a list.
There's a list.
Yes, a list. So I would rather
You have the list?
we look at the list. I'll provide it to you.
Please, tomorrow, the list needs to be provided.
I mean, you can see that I'm already sending you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like the efficiency. Thank you very much.
So it will come as list of pre-karma assets.
All right. So you've taken note of that.
Yes.
So you said used vehicles and others.
Yes.
Did this include land?
No.
Okay.
Not land at all.
Not land.
Because as I said, it was a project for NAWEC.
It was a project for now.
For NAWEC, yes. They were executing a project for NAWEC. So it's the equipment that they were using to execute that project.
Okay.
I possibly ask the witness if I think you're referring to an agency that was working with NAWEC. Is that the case?
He mentioned a project being run by Mr. Hamidja and Mohamed Bazi on behalf of NAWEC for the construction of, did you say generators?
It was a NAWEC project. I believe if it is pre-karma, it must be some generator.
Okay, something related to NAWEC generators.
Okay, I have the list of assets here.
All right, can you forward that to the committee's investigators, please?
Okay.
Counsel,
Yes, Honorable.
was it that the someone that was sent to Mr. Barry does not expressly state that he needs to provide the committee with all information?
Exactly, Honorable. Before we went on break, I had put this to him.
Yeah, I think
That the
but
summons is as wide as it can be.
what I want to promote is, Chair, you tell Mr. Barry that as a receiver, all correspondence, all documents that he have in relation to his sponsors should be provided to the council.
this was provided actually.
This was provided.
It was. If you look at the list of assets, it will be there.
Okay, but take note, council.
It will be there.
Yes, please, Honorable. Thank you. Honorable Chair, I believe this is a convenient point for me to stop, and then the committee can take over, so that when we come tomorrow, we can get into the sales of.
All right. Thank you, Counsel. Mr. Barry, thank you for being with us. Members of the committee will also have some questions for you for today, and I'm sure you will have more for you tomorrow, because we'll be dealing with more issues on sales. So tomorrow will be a very long day. But for today, I think we will just ask in the morning. I recall when counsel asked, even in your statement, you made mention a meeting with the former AG. Whilst you were working with FTI, I don't know whether you were a consultant for FTI. Is that correct?
Yes, I was an advisor to FTI.
Exactly. So your meeting with the AG was that meeting about an issue of land that you already knew that the Ghana Commission has forfeited land from the tourism development area, and then you contacted AG for an allocation, or was that proposal done even before the Ghana Commission recommended for those lands to be sold? How did you come to that?
Okay, as I said, the issue was we went to the Minister of Tourism, we went to see the President, and we went to see the Attorney General himself. So it's not as if we just went only to the Attorney General. We went to see all those government ministers that could assist in the allocation of land. So it's not as if we also had a particular land in mind. No, we are just trying to solicit his assistance in making facilitate for land to be available so that we can build the hotel. So he was not the only person we saw. As I said, we did meet the president, and he did give assurance that he will do everything possible to ensure that FTI gets the land and build their hotel.
And you say you're referring to FTI, that is meeting point, huh?
Yes.
Good. So the second point I would ask, in the morning you also mentioned 2 FTI.
Yes.
The first one you said is an accounting.
It's an accounting and forensic firm. Yes.
Okay.
It's just a pure coincidence that they both have the same initials, but they have nothing to do with one another. FTI forensic accountants, they were coming from Washington D.C. FTI, it's a German company, and they are engaged in tourism.
FTI forensic accountants, you work with them, or you did not work with them?
No, I did not work with them.
But they work with the commission?
They work with the commission.
Okay.
I knew one of their consultants. We were workmates at Deloitte in Nigeria. So he went and started to work with FTI and approached me when I was here to facilitate for them to do some work for the commission.
Okay.
But
So
I did not work with that FTI now. I just facilitated.
Okay. Another thing before I give you my colleague, in your submission, the valuation that you have done for the properties, this is in your book. Did you also submit that to the Attorney General or to the Commission? Because I've not seen that in most of
The valuations.
Yes.
Oh yeah, all the valuations.
They were all the same. Very all the same.
The valuation we did against the valuation that the commission did.
Yes.
No, I mean for the Banjul properties, we didn't do any valuation. We used the JANNEH Commission valuation. So we did our own independent valuation, but I did not do a comparison. Or maybe we did, but we basically used the valuation we did because ours was higher.
Okay.
But also, as I want to emphasize, the valuation actually is just a guide.
Yes.
Yeah, the valuation is just a guide as to an indication of price. But the real price is what the buyer and the seller agree.
That's fine. We will hold it to that, because I know tomorrow we'll deal with sales. We have more issues on sales than any other thing. So for that, I will allow my colleagues to ask some questions. Okay, Honorable Popan, I will come first before you. All right. And Mr. Barry, before you leave, please, we will also want you to help us with your contact number, your phone number. It's important for us. We will need it. If you can just, Yao, can you help us? Can you put his phone number there for the committee? Yeah? Yes.
My WhatsApp is different, or you just need my telephone number. Yeah, you can get me on this one all the time. Yeah.
Honorable Chair, we can have all phone numbers with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Barry, thank you for being with us since in the morning.
It's Honorable Fofana.
Yes, I'll be very brief. Earlier on in the morning, you did indicate to council that you had a conversation with the former lead counsel of the JANNEH Commission with regards to the FTI forensic.
Yes.
Can you give us a little background into that?
Okay. I believe what I think I'll say again. The FTI consultant, David, came to the Gambia from the US, and he does forensic work. And he approached me and said, look, I think we can do some work for this commission in terms of investigation. And we will also be able to find resources to pay for our services. So when he said that, I then linked him up with the lead counsel.
Eventually, were you able to know what type of work they were supposed to do for the commission?
No. I mean, they work in, if I was part of the team, I'll be privy to what was done. But it was a service that they provided they provided a service for the commission and they work with the commission. So I wasn't involved.
Well, at least can you tell this committee what type of work the FTI forensic does? What field?
Okay, in terms of maybe you have persons of interest. For example, somebody like Baz, they will be in a position to find out where he has assets globally. So if you want to go after it, probably they can help you. So those are the kind of things that they can provide.
By assets, we mean in specific terms?
Bank accounts, properties, shares, etc., etc.
So which means we can comfortably say that when they presented the analogy to you that they could be in the position to do some work for the commission,
yeah.
What they mean is they would be in a position to locate assets of persons of interest, including the former president,
yes,
and disclose assets, which will include bank accounts, which are in foreign countries.
Certainly, they would have that capacity. Whether that is what they have done, I don't know.
Okay, but can you confirm that they've done something for the commission? What they've done, you don't know. But can you confirm that they've done something for the commission?
Confirming it would mean that I've seen the letter of engagement. I haven't seen any letter of engagement.
Yeah,
but I know David was coming and going after. But I guess this is something that I'm sure can be cleared by the commission itself.
Yeah. Why I say confirm is because you did tell the lead counsel in the morning that the payment was done by another entity, meaning the work they did for the commission was for free. Am I correct?
Nothing is free in this world.
No, you said the commission didn't pay it. It was
Yes.
at no cost to the government.
Yeah.
Not so.
It was at no cost. That's what he told me, that he would find the resources to pay for their services.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They did render a service. Of course, we agree with you. You don't know the type of service they did.
Yeah.
But they did render a service, right?
I want to believe so because David had been coming after.
Do you have David's correspondence, his contact details?
Yes, I have his number.
Chair, I would apply that you get David's contact details, telephone numbers, and email addresses from Mr. Barry. Mr. Barry, the last question I want to ask is, when you went to meet the AG with regards to the other FTI now, who were present in the meeting? Who did you go with?
I believe I went with, certainly I went with TAP.
Okay.
Apart from him, I'm not sure whether there was a third party.
Apart from TAF, you cannot make any other recollection.
Whether we actually went with Dietmar, the CEO of FTI. I'm not sure whether he was at that meeting, but certainly I did go with TAF.
Is there any way that you can verify that to know when you were making, because you didn't only meet the AG, but you said you meet all the stakeholders.
Yeah.
Is there any way that you can verify in each and every one of those meetings who was present with you? Will you be able to?
With the president, certainly FTI, Mr. Kunz was present.
Mm-hmm.
With the Minister of Tourism, certainly he was present. But I'm not sure whether he was present when. I don't think he was present. That's what my mind is telling me at the moment.
Yes. That's why I'm asking whether you have records that you can refer to be sure.
I will ask staff.
No, if you do not have records, that's okay. If at all you have records of them, I was going to apply that you refer to those records and let's know the attendance.
No, if I ask him, he will certainly tell me. He will.
Apart from TAF and FTI, was there any other person? No. At your meeting with the minister, with other stakeholders, and with the president, do you have any other person apart from TAF and FTI?
No, it's really myself, TAF, and FTI that yeah.
Thank you, Chair. That's all I have.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you very much, Mr. Jallo. Mr. Barry, rather. Don't mind me. You know, Fulas are my uncles, so maybe it's easier to say Jallo than Barry. Thank you for coming anyway. To start with, Mr. Barry, why would one go to the president to facilitate an allocation of a land?
There are certain kind of investors, when they decide to come into your country, the impact that they can have in your country, I think, yes, it's acceptable to get them to see the president because of the importance of that particular investor.
Mr. Barry, as a professional, don't you think that move to meet a head of state and discuss on certain investments that are yet to be concluded through the right institutions, don't you think that might really influence certain decisions that might be independently taken?
Can you please explain further?
Your move to engage the head of state to facilitate for a land allocation, as you were doing with FTI. My question is, don't you think that move to meet the head of state could influence other decisions that could be taken independently without the influence of the executive or the head of state? Because I know you are a professional. And let me just stop there until you get me on.
At the end of the day, what we are looking for is the results. And and there are certain things that if you don't do it at the right time, you lose the opportunity. And that is exactly what has happened. So imagine if we had got the land in 2017. Today, there would be an 800-bedroom hotel in the Gambia. Imagine the amount of employment that it would create. Imagine the amount of taxes that it would contribute. Imagine the impact it would have within that community. So time is of the essence.
Yes. I am very much with the understanding that such a facility could create that significant impact. However, my question is around the approach. Do you think, let me repeat, it was right as a professional to engage a head of state on certain developments when you have established institutions responsible to execute such duties? Because, for example, we have the Gambia Tourism Board that is established by an act of parliament. And however you go, there is no way that you can escape them in terms of engaging them to get your desired project to happen. Why is it that you didn't approach the relevant institutions, but instead the head of state? Why should that happen?
Okay, then you didn't get me right then. We engage all stakeholders. In fact, we started with Gambia Tourism Board. So we did not go to the president to circumvent any procedure or any process. We went to the president to fast track.
That is to influence a decision. So if I may ask, since you met the Gambia Tourism Board before meeting with the president, in the course of meeting with the Gambia Tourism Board, do you get your application granted prior to meeting the president?
No, because it's a process. You apply, and then so it's a process. It's not as if you go to GT board and tomorrow you get the piece.
No, I understand very well it's a process.
Yeah,
but you said because of hurdles, there were delays in getting the land. Am I right or wrong?
I wouldn't say, what I can assure is, what I can assure you is we really followed the procedure.
But you use the office of the president to influence
a
decision.
To fast track.
That is to influence.
Well,
whatever nomenclature we use here, to fast track is to influence a decision, to make something happen that was not really moving. Mr. Barry, I think it will be important we get that part right. Because you didn't get what you want from the Gambia Tourism Board. You knocked at the office of the president to fast track the allocation. Let me put it that way, because maybe that might be the chosen word you will appreciate for one to use. So meaning you use the office of the president to fast track the process. Yes or no? We can proceed.
Yes, we approach the office of the president to fast track. And I can tell you one thing.
Thank you. No, I get the answer, Mr. Berry. We can move on. Mr. Berry, now I want us to look at the letters. One was dated 14th June 2019, and I think it was drafted by Mr. Binga, the then director of civil litigation, right? But then the letter is not signed.
Yeah, probably that is a soft copy. I'm sure there is an original that is signed.
There is a signed copy.
There is a signed copy.
If I may apply, Chair, if you can provide us with the signed copy. of the said letter. I still need more clarity around this specific letter. Yes, the letter of engagement. I want him to bring the signed copy, which is dated 14th June 2019. The one we have before us is not signed. And that was going to actually influence another question, but until you bring the signed copy, if there is one. Mr. Burry, also a letter dated 18th June 2020 that emerged from the AG chambers, or the Attorney General chambers rather, and Ministry of Justice, yeah? The letter, if you look at the first paragraph, which I may read, it says, further to your letter of appointment of 13th June 2019, the below list provides for specific fees per transaction listed. Now, Mr. Burry, if you look at the evidence as well you shared with us, that is on the executive summary, that is page 4. In the first paragraph, you said background, I would read because I'm a bit confused or I'm a bit not clear with one or two things. It reads, Alpha Burry of Alpha Capital Advisory was appointed as receiver stroke trustee by the AG and Minister of Justice with effect from 17th June. Now, my lack of clarity here is on the dates. Here it says 13th of June 2019. The letter authored 18th from the Ministry of Justice. And in your own executive summary, or in your own executive summary, you confirm to be appointed 17th June 2019. Can you provide clarity on these two dates? Which can we go by?
I believe lead counsel was discussing about that. So the letter is dated the 13th, but it is saying in effect the assignment is starting the 18th or the 17th. So the actual date that you are appointed, it's specified there, not the date of the letter.
Okay. In a simple context, you say the appointment was on the 13th. However,
no.
Okay.
The letter was dated the 13th and saying that the appointment is effective.
No. What I have before me, the letter was dated 18th June 2020. The appointment was 13th June 2019. That is from the Ministry of Justice. However, the evidence that you shared with us captured the appointment to start effect from 17th June. And I think we will need a clarity on this.
Okay, now I understand.
Because if I even understand when you were making your submissions, or even not from your submissions, but from the statement you wrote, you said, when you met Mr. Binger, the day you met him, that was the day he drafted your appointment letter. And it was almost that very day work begins.
The work began a few days after, effectively. But here, you are talking about two
different days.
Two letters. So the second letter you are referring to is 1 year after. So the purpose of that letter really is to now confirm the fees that we have now brought it down from 10 to 5. So that letter is really emphasizing that. The 2020 letter.
The 2020 letter.
Yes.
Yes.
But it's referring to the original.
But before, it actually looks at the payment modalities. It may it on the specific date of appointment, which I repeat was 13th June.
Okay, so that letter is referring to 13th June as the appointment rather than 18th June. Is that what you're trying to drive at?
Not really. What I am trying to drive at is this. In your executive summary, you said you were appointed on the 17th June 2019.
Okay.
The letter sent to you from the Ministry of Justice indicated you were appointed on the 13th of June 2019. And now I want to understand the discrepancies on the dates. Is it that you backdated the letter, or is it that the Ministry of Justice backdated the letter?
Okay. For that, I'll ask you to finalize, discuss it with the Ministry of Justice as to the discrepancy on those.
Okay,
dates.
before I discuss with the...
Because I am not the author
No, that's fine. No, you are author of one,
of the...
which indicates 17th.
Yeah.
The other one that was authored by the Ministry of Justice, signed by Kembeng Tita, Principal State Counsel, indicated 13th. Now, a very simple question, then we can move on. Which date will you stick to in between 13th June 2019 and 17th June 2019 as per your appointment?
I want to believe that the original appointment letter may be dated the 13th, but saying that it is effective the 17th of June.
Mr. Berry, I don't want us to create confusion around this, because both documents are very explicit in terms of dates. In terms of dates, because the letter from the Ministry of Justice and the evidence you shared with us, you indicated 17th of June.
Okay, so will you allow me to compile the appointment letters and show you why we are referring to the 17th in our summary?
Yeah, the burden lies in your hands to actually provide clarity.
Yes, I will bring you the documents, and then probably it will show the confusion.
Thank you. I would agree on that. We can move on. Mr. Bode,
Yes.
I want us to look at your discussion around your appointment, because maybe I didn't get you clearly when you were explaining. Is it correct to say that you started the discussion with Ba when you were in Mecca?
Informally.
Informally, yeah, whether formally, informally. Was Ba as well in Mecca then?
Yes.
Yes. Were you on a private mission, or do you know what mission was he also there for?
I don't know what mission he was there for, but I was there in my private capacity.
In your private capacity. Do you have the travel itinerary for your trip to Mecca? Or can you provide the committee with your travel itinerary?
I am not.
You are not?
We are talking about travel itinerary for 2019.
Yes.
I don't think I can find.
Not even with the airline that you bought the ticket from.
I cannot even tell you which airline I took.
You cannot even tell us which airline.
I would need to search, but anyway, we met there by It's true coincidence, actually. It's sheer coincidence.
Yes, you met there. You were both on your personal business in Mecca then.
I was on personal. I don't know whether he was there officially, but I was there on a personal.
Okay, and you said you cannot get the travel itinerary. And I'll be very much interested to get that itinerary because I would be requesting something similar from Mr. Tambedu when he comes before us, just to reconcile, to see how it all happens. Because
that I actually traveled to Mecca.
Yes, and why was that discussion even supposed to happen in Mecca? Because I just want to wait until tomorrow. Going by your statement, you know, for me, the way you were in fact identified or selected as a receiver, then I would say it was also a coincidence. Because then there was a receiver that in fact you said you never knew government appointed a receiver, which equally I might have doubt on, knowing or understanding the fact that you were also interested to work as a receiver with the commission or with the government. So for me, I would be with the belief that you should understand the structures that were in place. What is your take on that?
I think your question was very long. You know, it's getting to 5 o'clock, so my level of concentration is not 100%.
You need a break for you to pray and come back?
No, just be specific as to.
You know, Mr. Baremi, I have been here for 2 months, from morning to 8, 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I will make it very.
So just give me a direct question,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll give you a direct answer.
Okay. My problem here is your engagement with Barada in Meke. What in fact prompted it? Because then there was a receiver appointed that you said you were not in the know.
I believe the best person to answer your question is Honorable Tambed.
Honorable Tamil. But I believe you should also be in a position to answer my question for the fact that the whole engagement were initiated by yourself, or it were initiated by Honorable Tambedu?
As I mentioned earlier, he found me in Mecca at a particular place and said, look, I think I want to get you involved in a particular assignment. So meeting in Mecca was pure coincidence.
So, Mr. But I get my answer, meaning Honorable Tambedu initiated the discussion,
yes,
to have you appointed as a receiver.
Yes, you can say that.
No, not me.
No, that's
Me, with all due respect, Mr. Barry, I want to hear from you. And if you want, I can repeat. It means
he initiated the discussion.
he initiated the
I
discussion.
didn't know that, you know, a receiver was in, well, they are looking for a receiver. I wasn't aware.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mr. Barrett, very interesting here. Honorable Tambedu initiated the discussion. How does he have the knowledge that you are a receiver by profession?
You can ask him that question, but I can tell you this is a very small country. If you want to do certain exercises, if you ask 1, 2, or 3, they will tell you, if you want to achieve certain results, this is the person to. It's just probably for you, if you want to identify a contractor and you ask a friend, look, I want to build a house. I'm sure your friend will tell you, can you talk to 1, 2, and 3? So probably that is what he has done. And he also knows my profession. I mean, Gambia is a small country.
That is fair enough.
Yeah, and I've run Deloitte in this country for 15 years.
That is fair enough.
So,
You know, it's also important to establish how was the whole discussion was initiated, understanding the fact that Louis Prompt was duly appointed by the courts.
well, I don't want to really get into that area. I guess when the Honorable Minister comes, he can explain that aspect. Really, that's not my...
Exactly. Mr. Barry, how do you choose the office of the AG to open bids?
Why?
Why and how? Why? Yes, the why is very important. Why? Knowing you were appointed as a receiver, and also understanding that your consortium was an independent consortium without any affiliation with government. Why do you choose the office of the AG to open bids and to review bids and in fact to select potential buyers?
You know, with hindsight, you know, everybody is clever with hindsight. With hindsight, I am actually very happy that we did that, because it gave it an other layer of transparency. So can you imagine if I had said that I have the independence, I'm going to open this bid in my office without no third party present. Today, I could have been accused of doing all kind of shenanigans. But getting the Office of the Solicitor General involved strengthened the transparency, because my office staff were there and the Office of the Solicitor General was there. And the Office of the Solicitor General, they were chairing the ministerial committee. So basically, those are the people I was reporting to. So I thought it prudent to invite them to enhance the transparency. That's the main, that's the why.
Okay.
Transparency.
Mr. Barry, I may not have a problem in inviting them. My problem is why using his premises to review these bids and in fact do your identifications. Why was that happening? Don't you have the option to invite them as your office, as stakeholders, and do some of these things together? Was that not an option for you to do?
We are dealing with a state minister, and I think the Office of the Attorney General deserves that level of respect.
That is true. You were dealing with a state minister. But let's not also forget that the minister was a public servant. And as such, he should be in a position to move from his comfort zone to another place depending on safeguarding national interest. So for me, you should give us another justification or another option rather than saying he's a state minister. It seems the way you use the office of the president to facilitate or fast track the allocation of land to FTI. This was also a method to use for the AG to influence certain decisions. And if you disagree tomorrow when we come here, I will give you the evidence.
I totally reject your conclusion.
Okay, I will also promise you that.
Totally.
Mr. Barry?
I can tell you that there was no interference.
No, Mr. Barry, tomorrow when we meet here, I will give you the evidence of interference in terms of how some of these sales were conducted.
Well, I'm very interested in that.
And to take you there will be, Mr. Burry, there were sales that were conducted and these people never applied. There was no bid. They were not part of those that submitted their bids. And you sold lands to them.
When we did a bidding process and they submitted the
Yeah, the reserve sales, yes.
a particular asset that we sold, we tendered, and somebody came and bought it without. That is very interesting to me.
Yes, of course. And tomorrow, because the lead council haven't gone with you on the sales of land, but tomorrow I will put this evidence before you. People acquired lands who never almost applied. They were not, in fact, on the list of those that bidded for those properties.
And those properties were advertised to be sold.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, as they say, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So tomorrow, you will show me.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yeah, we will take you through that.
Yeah.
They have also applied that they need a list of certain properties. And under your receivership, I just want to ask out of curiosity, how many hotels were under your management?
Hotels. No, the hotels were not owned by the former president.
They were owned by who?
Social Security.
You know,
Sun Beach and
Mr. Barry, you know what we are investigating here?
Yeah.
Not everything that we are investigating directly belongs to the former president, but we believe he have influenced either the acquisition of those things or he have a hand in them. This is why they form part of assets that the JANNEH Commission were investigating. This is why part of the assets that were assigned to the Ministerial Task Force and to your receivership forms part of those assets. So for me, like the ozone bay you're talking about belonging to Social Security, logically I understand that's how it is like. But however, they are captured as assets owned by former president. In a broader perspective, this is why, you know, they were under your management.
Ocean Bay was never under my management.
Okay, aside from Ozone Bay, which one?
Sun Beach was never under my management. The only hotel, if I can recall, is Sindola.
It was Sindola. Okay. Okay. That's fine. That is also very clear. I think I wouldn't waste your time. I would leave the rest for tomorrow when we come back. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Barry. Council, any further clarification before we adjourn for today?
No, Honorable Chair.
All right.
Until tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Barry. You are released for today. And please do join us tomorrow at 11 o'clock. We will start the proceeding latest 11 o'clock. And we apologize for today because we started late. I mean, that was as a result of some technical issues. I think you were informed about that. If you are not, our apology.
I would rather you are late than I am late. So I'm here at your pleasure.
All right. So we'll be here by 11 o'clock sharp.
you.
All right. Meeting adjourned for today, and then we will resume tomorrow on Thursday on the 11th of September 2025. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.